All right, we are back with our college football and NFL recap show. Just Grant and I today. Grant, kind of a weird weekend. No college football really besides Army Navy. The under happens once again. Uh, let's just start off with the Chiefs dominating the Raiders. Chiefs are back, and the Raiders before the game. If you guys did not see it, all the Raiders players huddled around the logo and like stomped on it a little bit. What are your thoughts after that game?
I mean, you kind of get what you ask for. I think it's like one of those type situations where like it doesn't ever make sense to me for a team just to like piss off another team before they play them. Like I've never understood that. And to get like the crowd more engaged than they would have been probably, right? Like they were super pissed off. So, but the Chiefs are that team that's been super high lately. Like it took a while. It took a long while, but we've been talking about it for weeks now, like weeks. And it really feels like they're coming and molding into their own. So that's cool. It's cool to see like they're kind of back in form. So I would not take that team lightly, regardless of record. And I think the league's on notice for sure.
Yeah, their defense is like probably what two or three right now in the NFL, and Danny Sorensen isn't getting trashed every day again, especially after that huge pick six.
Exactly. All the memes about the way he like ran to the end zone, they're like me running to the fridge at 3 a.m. Like all that stuff was pretty funny. So, or like James Harden, like when he does a layup, like the 14 steps, like it was just hilarious stuff. So, but yeah, Danny, Dirty Dan, man, out there balling out. He's doing well.
All right, let's just get this one out of the way. Panthers lose embarrassingly to the Falcons once again. It's just the same thing every week now at this point, whether Joe Brady's there or not. It's same thing every week. It comes down to two people, Tepper and Matt Rhule. What really bothers me about Matt Rhule this week, it's Matt Rhule press conference segment every week now, it seems like. He was so he was so scared to talk against Sam Darnold at the beginning of the year. He's like, oh no, Sam's good. Sam, he was babying Sam this whole time. He has no issue going at Cam. He's like, oh, Cam should have done more on that fumble where he got tripped. Or one, what was Cam supposed to do, really? Was he not supposed to try and make a play? Like, in that moment, what do you really expect him to do? Also, after hearing that statement, it is so clear that bringing Cam in was not Matt Rhule's call. It was 1,000% David Tepper. Like, dude, we're not doing this Darnold, PJ Walker thing anymore. It's Cam Newton. And Panthers are doomed for the next 3 to 4 years, it seems like. It's not even like I'm mad anymore. It's just depressing watching it.
And to be honest, man, like we're in the same boat as a Falcons fan. Like me as a Falcons fan, like we're basically in the exact same boat because like Matt Ryan has so much life left. He's basically gone. We'll be in a complete rebuild with really not that many top weapons. Like we're in the same thing. So we actually both lost because we won the game on Sunday, which makes us have a worse pick because we know we're going to be rebuilding, and you guys, we're both losers in the situation. So
yeah, I know it's because but the thing is, if you win yesterday, either team wins yesterday, you're like, oh, we're still in the playoff hunt. You'll still be in the Sunday Night Football graphic in the hunt, even though you're never going to make it.
Exactly.
No, yeah, it's terrible. And just Matt Rhule has to go. It's over. From the outside looking in, how can you explain to someone Matt Rhule is a good fit in the NFL? There's no explanation.
It seems like he's going to be back in college football sooner than we thought. And springboarding on Matt Rhule too. It seems like honestly, like Urban Meyer as well could be gone before we think he's going to be gone. Like he could be a 1 year guy.
Did you see him walking off the field?
Yeah, he looked demoralized, and it's just funny week after week because like all the stuff he would talk about when he's on Fox Sports, like he would talk about like dysfunctional teams and kind of like listed out all the characteristics of like a dysfunctional team, like untrust, like in the locker room there's no trust, like lazy attitude, like all this stuff. It checks every box of what the Jacksonville Jaguars are from top to bottom. And it's like, you even have your quarterback now, Trevor, speaking out basically against the decisions that the head coaches and assistants are making. Like it's that bad of a situation right now. It's getting worse and worse. And everything Urban Meyer seems to be doing seems to be making it worse, not making it better. That's the crazy thing. It's like he seems to be putting gasoline on a fire that's already burning in Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, it looks like he's gone. The thing is, like, if they were going to leave, the sooner the better, because all the really good college jobs are kind of taken now, right?
Yeah, 100%. And like Rhule to LSU would have made more sense to me, right? Because he's worked with Joe Brady in the past, for sure, more than like Brian Kelly as of right now, or like even Urban to like USC or Notre Dame or what. I think Notre Dame would probably been the most realistic one because I think that is his dream job, was his dream job or whatever you want to call it. But I think with all the issues that were going on with Urban Meyer, it's like a black guy that the university didn't want to take on.
Yeah, but I don't think Matt Rhule is set out for the NFL at all. I would be shocked if we ever saw him in the NFL after this season. I think his time in Carolina is definitely done.
Yeah, is that the fan perception? Like everyone's just like, this is a fun experiment for now.
So the fan perception is, but the issue is the owner gave him such a big contract for nothing, basically. Like I don't know who we were really bidding against. I mean, at the time we were bidding against the Giants, but like I can't believe that was our guy when Eric Bieniemy has just been sitting there begging to get a head coaching job from the Kansas City Chiefs, and nobody wants him.
Mm-hmm. That's the weirdest one to me. I don't understand that one.
Like there is like something going on behind the scenes. Yeah, there's something going on behind the scenes. Unless he's like, because the report was he was terrible at interviewing. I was like, unless he's like sitting there like throwing poop at the wall or something, like I don't know how he can be that bad of an interviewer. Because I mean, if you look, the Chiefs' offense is the best in football.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I was him, I would stop talking. If that's the truth, right? If he's an awful interviewer, I wouldn't say a word. I would have all the numbers like on a spreadsheet. I would just slide it over and be like, numbers speak for themselves. And then just like, that's it. Like at this point, if it's true, I mean, who knows? Like, right, there could be underlying things that are going on that we don't know about, which are definitely possible. But it is weird, man. Like he has been so consistent year in, year out for the Chiefs. Like the year they lost the Super Bowl against the Bucs was not his fault. Again, like I said, like the O-line was horrendous, but like other than that, everything else, and like the defense just got manhandled by that Bucs offense.
Yeah, and another coach that should be fired, Matt Nagy. I don't understand how he still has a job either. I mean, this one's been going on forever. He is a master at keeping his job by doing the bare minimum.
He's like the Clay Helton of the NFL. Like Clay Helton was like, I swear they like were telling him like you remember the scene in the Remember the Titans when basically tell like Coach Boone like you lose a game like you're done. And like he agrees that before game one. That I felt like they told like Clay Helton, like you lose a game, like you're done. That's kind of what it was like. It was weird, but like Clay Helton kept winning, and he had like in the shortened season, he had such a good season, had them like top 15, like they couldn't fire him. So like they're like screwed. Like they're like, well, we have to keep him for another year until he screws up. And then this year it was like fine. It was almost like the administration, fans, team, everything. Maybe knows to what extent the players. But like it seemed like everyone was on board with like him failing, which is never going to work out well. It's like doomed to start. Same thing. It feels like the Bears are like that to me in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't even know because administration clearly wanted Clay Helton gone. It seems like the owners in Chicago are like, no, we're cool with this. Like, like he's actually good and stuff. I'm like, and it's Chicago. Like that's a good job. Like if you're a head coach right now, that's one job you'd be vying to get because Justin Fields is actually good. They actually showed they're willing to move up in the draft and do what they can. But Matt Nagy sucks.
He's so that guy that has to like flex when he does like his like wants praise for like doing his job. Like he's like, yeah, I didn't call the plays, but I'm the head coach. Like I have the final say. It's like, yeah, bro, everyone knows that about a head coach. Like you don't have to tell us like the responsibilities of a head coach. We know at the end of the day, like it's your responsibility. Like whenever his like corners do anything good, he like wants the praise for like that. And I'm like,
yeah, dude. No, this is actually kind of perfect. He is like so eerily similar to Jason Garrett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, that's spot on.
Jason Garrett doing the bare minimum every year in Dallas to keep his job. Every single year, everybody's like, "Oh, every segment on every other Sunday was Jason Garrett to get fired today. What will Jerry Jones do?"
It's so true, man. It's just funny with these coaches that like everyone knows they're gonna get fired, but they're still not fired. But they're like in this like limbo world. It's just weird. Yeah. Like I said, I feel like Matt Nagy is like the classic Clay Helton story of the NFL right now. Like that's just what it feels like to me.
Yeah, and Jason Garrett, he He didn't even get the Duke job. He didn't get
He
the
did
Duke
get the
job.
Duke job. That's not good.
All right. Anything else in the NFL?
No, tonight, like the Monday Night Football matchup. Let's talk about that. Who do you lean?
I mean, it's hard not to lean Cardinals after seeing the last few weeks of the Rams. I think it's a Rams bounce back. I think Rams win.
Yeah, I mean they've been in that weird funk for a while.
Well, I think underlying the one thing that like nobody's really talking about, they had that weird report coming out like 30 minutes before kickoff. I think it was either last week or the week before. They're like Matt Stafford has chronic back pain, and like I'm like, wait, what? And apparently it's just a nothing story. It's like he's clearly dealing with something because he has not been the same as he was.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like they're like so hyped about getting Matt Stafford. He's looked like not the quarterback he's ever been. He's looking like he's had the worst year he's ever had, in my opinion. Like he just looks rough. Like missing wide open throws. Should have more interceptions than he has. Like people are just dropping his interceptions, but like he for sure could have even more. It's just wild. And then he'll have flashes where he's himself and he's just throwing, on a rope, just dimes across, to Cooper Cup and like people like that. So it's just interesting. Obviously he's not well. Obviously he's not 100%. That's why I kind of like until that's all figured out. I don't know. I kind of lean Cardinals, even though, like you said, I think it is a bounce back game for the Rams. I like Cardinals first half. If I had to take anything, I'd probably take that.
Oh, one more thing. How was Baker Mayfield not getting benched? He has been so bad. Just play Case Keenum.
Is it not funny too that like they wouldn't pay him the big money because they knew they're like we're gonna go back to the fifth year option and kind of just see like if we want him to be the franchise quarterback. And I'm like, bro, that doesn't bode well of confidence, like coming from an organization if they're not willing to pick you up like long term after you've been there for 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not. That means like they still haven't seen enough from you to invest that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, no. I mean, he has so many progressive ads. Like I've never seen like. Just imagine if we saw Kirk Cousins every like third commercial.
That's literally what it's like. Him and Tom Brady now. Tom Brady's everywhere too.
Yeah, Tom Brady's everywhere, but like that makes sense.
Yeah.
The 20th best quarterback, 25th best quarterback in football does not make sense.
The progressive ad, man. Does anybody spend in more in marketing than progressive? I would love to know.
I know, it's insane. I guess Geico spent a ton of money.
True.
All right, let's move on to college football. Let's talk about the bowl game of the year. Everybody's been waiting for it. I literally can't sleep at night because all I think about is the Shreveport Independence Bowl, UAB versus BYU. BYU's a 7-point favorite now. I think when we did it last time, it was BYU minus 8.5. Over-under's 55. I don't really know what to think about this game. I actually kind of like UAB to win because I feel like BYU feels like they were disrespected and should have been in a bigger bowl game.
I would think that too, if it wasn't for Kalani Sitake. Like I think he's that kind of guy that like learned from Kyle Whittingham, and they're pretty good in bowl games, to be honest. Like their records are pretty solid. So I think he's learned. Here's the thing.
What happened in the Hawaii Bowl of 2019?
Yeah, not good stuff. But they're also like chilling in Hawaii. Players are probably just vibing out in Hawaii, right? They're not vibing out in Shreveport, Louisiana. So like I think they'll be more focused in the game because there's not much else to focus on. There's not much else to do. So like,
yeah.
My take is this. I think BYU is always better when they can kind of feel like they got burned, like they're like the underdogs. I think they're going to use not like an underdog vibe, but like I feel like they're going to use like we got burned. Just like they did against UCF last year and just like torch those guys. I think it's going to be a good game. I think if I had to choose someone, I'd probably lean UAB to cover the spread if it was still 8 points. But I think BYU wins it outright.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know who exactly is all playing still yet. That's the problem. Like talking about bowl games early on is you could find out 3 days before that. Oh yeah, the star quarterback's not playing.
Exactly. And so like we know for a fact that like anyone that's healthy is going to play. Like there's no sit outs if they're not healthy. So that's cool. So all star players should play if they're healthy. But again, like you said, like that could be a big question mark. So we'll see with that. If the normal starting 11's out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'll be that's a fun bowl game to watch, especially if you're neutral. Like you're like, oh, BYU UAB, that's fun. Like I'll throw a little money on this game.
Yeah.
Like you're if you're bored
Yeah.
the Saturday before Christmas, even though everyone's gonna be out shopping, or if you're just sitting in your jams watching college football, like myself.
Exactly. That's what it feels like, bro. It feels like that game that like people are just gonna be like, oh, it's kind of a cool game. Let's just watch this one.
Yeah, exactly. You're like people are like walking through shops or like at restaurants, like, oh, who's playing BYU UAB? Yeah, not bad.
It's gonna be a bowl game that everyone's like that, and they don't remember it at all, right?
They're
Like, there's like
the 13th ranked team is playing in Shreveport, Indiana, or Shreveport, Louisiana.
Bro, they're the highest ranked team to go to the claim whatever it is bowl.
Shout out the 2020roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl.
Boca Raton Bowl.
We are legally abiding by having to say the entire bowl game.
That's true, because eventually they will sponsor them, so that's cool. And then
shout out
shout out roofclaim.com. And then the highest ranked team to go to the Independence Bowl in Shreveport. So it's like it just seems like 2 years in a row you're the highest ranked team to go to this bowl ever. It seems like you should have been in a different bowl game. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can like maybe have the opportunity of playing in the famous Idaho Potatoes Bowl next year.
We probably will, to be honest. Until the Big 12, like it's not good.
I actually like don't know like what else. Maybe like what's one of those? I feel like we'll be in a military bowl, maybe.
I could see that, or like the one in Phoenix, or I can see if it's like in Barstool, like one like in the future or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of bowl game.
I doubt it.
You doubt it? I mean, I don't know.
I don't. Like, I think Holmo would back out of the Barstool one.
He's like, I don't want anything but Brandon Barstool in this university.
Well, like just because like the sports book kind of aspect. If it was like regular Barstool Sports, I think they would do it. But when there's the gambling aspect involved, I would be shocked personally if BYU accepted a bid to the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl.
You don't think Tom Holmo's putting some money down on the Cougs in these games?
He's like, yeah, hey guys, before we make it out to Louisiana, we just make a pit stop in Biloxi.
Exactly. He's like, we're going to Windover real quick before we head over there. So, yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. I could see that too.
Also, big news in college football. Also, no, before we talk about that, every college football show in America is going to be talking about this. How awkward was that video between Brian Kelly and his 5-star quarterback? What is the LSU video staff thinking? They're like, oh, this is a good idea. Just show a little highlight film and be like, I'm staying at LSU. Like, that would have been fine. You don't have to do this weird, awkward dance thing that is so weird.
It would. He's trapped in like a body, or someone's trapped in his body, or something weird. Like, it is the.
Yeah, so I think every college football show in America is going to be talking about this. The weirdest thing came out this weekend of that Brian Kelly and his 5-star quarterback, that little video that LSU did where they're going around in the circle. Brian Kelly's doing this awkward dance. If you're an LSU fan, you've got to be, you're just like, crap, this is doomed. There's no way this turns out well. There's no way people are looking back after this and be like, oh yeah, that was the video that started it.
They are going to be pointing to that video and the Southern accent video. But man, like the college football world's like putting Brian Kelly on blast, and like honestly, deservedly so. It's just so awkward, bro. It's bad. It's just like someone just faking, like trying to fake this like facade, this persona. I don't even know like whatever you want to call it, and everyone can see it's just so bad. It is so bad. And it's like, yeah, LSU fans have got to be like, bro, this is just awkward. So I think he's that guy that's just trying to like put on a show and act like something he's completely not. And it doesn't come across as genuine at all, like authentic at all. And that's what makes it worse. It's like, that's probably how this guy recruits. He's just super like disingenuous. Just, it looks whack, man.
Yeah, it looks awful. Like I don't know if you're a player, like the only reason the thing that Brian Kelly has though is one, you have the backing of LSU and the boosters and everything. And LSU's, like I mentioned before, I think it's a top 5 job in the country. And then also he does have the resume being like, hey, I've made the college football playoff in much worse circumstances recruiting wise.
Yeah, like his resume speaks for itself, but it's like it's more fit sometimes with these bigger programs than it is resume, because you're not worried about getting a guy with a resume. You're LSU, you can pay any for. Oh man, like Brian Kelly, and like can he honestly sit down with some of these southeastern athletes and really win them over Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, like some of these dogs, right? Like right? And you're not recruiting necessarily 100% for the same people that all these top tier programs are, but in the SEC you are day in day out. So we'll see. Like we'll see how that transition is. I personally don't think it's a good fit, but like I said, they're the ones paying them. I'm not.
Yeah, you mentioned it before when we had Brian on the show. When we talked about Lincoln Riley to USC, because that's a perfect fit. Because you're right, USC you kind of have to play that Hollywood role a little bit. I think that's a perfect fit, and I think Matt Rhule would have been a phenomenal fit at LSU.
Exactly. Sure, more similar to the SEC in my opinion, because you're going up against Texas, Oklahoma, recruits like that. It's like that to me seems like a better fit than like basically an ACC add-on with Notre Dame. So yeah, and Lincoln Riley, yeah, like I talked about, man, like they want someone that's like almost half Hollywood, half coaching, right? And I think Lincoln Riley can definitely provide that for him.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last thing we'll touch on real quick, because then we'll talk about the whole playoff thing next week. We'll get into that big time. Last thing we'll touch on, Quinn Ewers transfers from Ohio State to Texas. He's the second biggest recruit for Texas since Vince Young. They say he's literally the next Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck, all these guys. I think Texas is back. I really think this kid's that good.
To be determined, man. I got a bunch of people texting me that Texas is back. Like I've heard it so many times at this point. But like you said, if he is that kind of quarterback, he can cover a lot of deficiencies. And I think that's what Sark really needed. I think that Sark's that kind of guy. He needs that foundational quarterback piece to just be a dude. And to be honest, any high level, college team needs a high level quarterback as well. So I could see it. I like the move. I guess my biggest question is the people that paid him, $1 million or whatever out of high school, get that return on it.
All right, and probably the biggest news coming out of college football this weekend, Quinn Ewers, 5-star quarterback or like 10-star quarterback, whatever the recruiters use. They say he's the next Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, all these guys. He transfers from Ohio State to Texas. Texas football is back.
That's what we keep hearing, man. We'll see, right? Like a bunch of my buddies texting me about Texas being back. I've heard it so many times. I'm inclined to lean that maybe they are, right? Because I think Sark needs this kind of foundational piece to take his, era to the next level. So I kind of love that move by him. I didn't really think that Texas Tech was a great fit for him, right? If he wants to showcase what he is. No shade towards Texas Tech. I love the Red Raiders, but yeah, I guess my only question is like, does the people that gave him like $1 million, do they get that return on investment, or like what happens there? Right?
Yeah, I don't.
So new in NIL.
Yeah, it's all weird because did you see that NCAA report saying that NCAA is looking after Built Bar with BYU?
Well, yeah, if you read the article too, it's already been passed. Like they asked these questions like months ago.
Yeah,
like it was like so months stupid. Ago. They were just asking questions and like BYU complied and like they had no other questions. So it's like, yeah, this is done. It's like, why is this nothing now?
Burger? But yeah, no, that's the interesting thing with NIL is like these kids could just go to Ohio State, meet up with a local car dealer and be like, hey dude, I'll come here for $1 million, get the $1 million, redshirt for a year, never play or anything, just go to practice and just be like, yeah, screw this, I'm going back home to Texas.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, like this guy, like I'm sure that money's already spent or gone or who knows. So
Yeah,
like,
there's no way. I mean, he's a freaking 18-year-old kid. There's no way he's not.
yeah,
Imagine one of us with $1 million even right now.
exactly. So yeah, it's funny to me because I think people, I don't know, man, because I guess it's always been under the table with like big time schools paying players to come. But I wonder if people are going to now wait a little bit longer to see production before paying out like big money. I don't know.
I don't think you can though, because I don't think you'll get the
Yeah,
big recruits like that. I think the schools like Bama and all these other guys are just like, no, we're going to pay these guys and just take the risk on investment.
and I really do feel like, I mean, Texas just came up with that stuff that they're paying players and they're going to like compete to be able to like build packages basically to compete with anyone to pay players. So you have to think they had a pretty compelling argument for what's his name, Ewers or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, to transfer there as well. So
yeah. The only thing that scares me, I think, because he'll start next year right away, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, if you're bringing him in, he's with the intention of playing. Obviously, that was probably like under the table promise. Yeah.
and he only has to play 2 years at Texas, and he avoids the SEC, correct?
Yes.
When are they moving? Because there was different dates they keep saying.
As of right now, he would avoid the SEC. Yes, but
Okay,
it is possible earlier than 25. I could see that happening. Them trying to get out because it's just like $80 million buyout or $60 million buyout or something like that. So like, if boosters finally get that money together just to get out, then like it could happen.
yeah, no. If he's playing against Big 12 football, he is. I mean, just lock him in to win the Heisman.
He's got to pull the Spencer Rattler and then get out before he gets exposed. If that's the case.
Spencer Rattler. Oh, they didn't have to play. Spencer Rattler just played Kansas and got exposed.
It's so bad. But yeah, no, I think it's a great move by Texas. Obviously, they're in the business of competing. They keep proving over and over again. Let's see if it actually pans out, though, because it always has not panned out. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I think Stark's a good coach. I think Texas is trending in the right direction, especially basketball too. Like their coach, I mean, you're not getting much better coaches than Sark and Chris Beard in your two main sports.
Yeah, I love Chris Beard, man. He's stud. I mean, obviously what he did with Tech was incredible. So yeah, I do believe in Sark. Again, he's a BYU alum, so shout out to him. But we'll see, man. We'll see. It's kind of up in the air with Sark as of right now. Obviously, not a great first year showing, not even bowl eligible, but give him some time. Kind of like what these coaches have to have their players come in their system, and then if after 3 years you're not seeing improvement, then you kind of have a good feel at that point.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for us. Want to apologize once again for the internet issues. We will see y'all on Thursday for the college basketball NBA recap show. We have interviews coming next week with some awesome people. We will let you all know then. And yeah, Grant, anything else?
Nah, man, I appreciate you having me on. Everyone have we're getting close to Christmas. So everyone have happy holidays, man.
Happy holidays. All right.